In 2022, Bahrain's Brave made MMA history by hosting an event in its record-setting 28th country. To start 2023, Brave have kept the records coming by capping off the Amateur World Championships in Serbia, where an unprecedented 550 athletes from 62 nations descended on Belgrade. Brave 69 was the main event, though, and history was made when interim lightweight champion Abdisalam Kubanichbek decisioned Kamil Magomedov to become Kyrgyzstan's first ever undisputed Brave champion.
Я вот довольно Всевышнего. Альхамдулилля, сегодня мне дал этот победа. Альхамдулилля, альхамдулилля. Я чувствую хорошо, отлично.
Thanks, Almighty. I'm grateful for the victory.
Ignore the unanimous decision. It was 5 rounds of nail-biting grappling with both men almost getting the finish on multiple occasions. Omak's world-class wrestling prowess, however, saw him get the upper hand. His positional control was outstanding, but Magomedov's ability to survive was testament to how good his BJJ skills really were. Defense, however, has never been enough to win a world title. With the win, Kubanichbek pushed his record out to 20-3, and he's upgraded himself from interim to undisputed. Just quietly, he's on a 12-fight win streak, with 8 of those ending before the final bell. It was an explosive night of fights, but in no other bout did fists detonate on faces quite like they did in the heavyweight co-main. Shamil Gaziev got dropped early by the hometown hero Darko Stosic with a pinpoint accurate left hook before he got back up to return the favor with an uppercut and some nasty ground and pound for the win. Watching the replay, you could see Gaziev's understandable reluctance at continuing the onslaught, but you do as the ref says, or you don't get the win. So the big man continued, and the victory was his. Also on the card, Serbia's Alexander Ilic secured the home nation's only win of the night when he crushed Poland's Marcin Naruszka. He treated the sold-out stadium to a striking clinic, kicking Naruszka from pillar to post before dropping bombs on his grounded opponent. The Polish fighter was impossibly tough and somehow survived to hear the final bell, and then the packed arena cheering for their man as he had his hand raised. Other highlights from the card included Croatia's Patrick Celic tearing into Serbia's Alexander Terzic. It was 4 minutes of fury, but it ended with Terzic being pounded unconscious by the Croatian killer. And the Belgian welterweight, Issa Isakov, spent 2 rounds manhandling the Russian Ruslan Tediev. The Sambo champ simply couldn't compete with Isakov's grappling supremacy, and then he simply couldn't stay awake. But the night opened with one of this year's more heartfelt moments in MMA, courtesy of Mahmoud Sabeya. It took just 38 seconds for the Prince of Egypt to sleep Greece's Mohamed Kir Ahmet with some heavy hands, but it was more than the victory on his mind, and he had a worthy message for all of us.
I didn't want to celebrate, to be honest, and my heart goes for Syria and Turkey and for all the people who died and passed away from the earthquake. I have one of my friends, he passed away in Syria. That's why we're standing now solidarily for them. And I will do everything in my power. I will donate some of my purse for that cause too, because these people need us now, because we should be united. So that's what I'm going to say now.
To the UFC, Erin Blanchfield left no doubt that she is a top contender in the women's flyweight division. Cold-blooded submitted the former strawweight champ Jessica Andrade in the second round of Fight Night 219's main event. And now she wants a title shot. Forget that Andrade stepped up on less than a week's notice and that she is still ranked as a strawweight. Blanchfield went toe-to-toe with the scariest puncher in women's MMA, more than held her own, and then got the sub. It was outstanding. Valentina Shevchenko won't be defending her belt against Blanchfield just yet, as she is set to defend her belt in March. But you can bet that fight now has a backup contender should anything happen. As for Andrade, a win would have secured her a title fight at whatever weight she wanted. perhaps the loss might encourage a permanent move to strawweight, but I wouldn't bet on it. Erin Blanchfield more than deserved one of the $50K performance bonuses. Mayra Bueno Silva earned the other with the first win by knee bar in the women's bantamweight division, and Nazim Sadikov's doctor stoppage victory over Evan Elder won them fight of the night. In other UFC news, Henry Cejudo is back, and he's walking straight into a bantamweight title fight with the champ, Aljamain Sterling. At least that's the plan. Obviously, I'm going to be training for Aljamain Sterling, stated the former champ. As soon as the fight gets announced, as soon as it's not just verbally said, but there's a signature on there and the fight is sealed and everything is good. Triple C, a former dual fly and bantamweight champ, retired as the bantamweight champ after stopping Dominic Cruz in 2020. Aljamain Sterling is now the champion, but his reign has been plagued with controversy and problems, including a niggling bicep injury he's currently recovering from. As a precaution, Cejudo has a backup plan. The crowd favorite and supposed mandatory challenger, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I really don't think Aljamain Sterling wants that smoke, so at the same time, the only thing I could say to Sean O'Malley is stay ready, stay prepared. Whichever bout happens, it's being targeted for this May. And the two-time light heavyweight champion Jon Jones believes he will be fighting for more than the vacant heavyweight title in his return. Johnny Bones faces the former interim champ Cyril Gane at UFC 285 this March 4th. And it's not just the pound-for-pound #1 ranking he's after. We all have our time of looking the absolute best in the world, Jones not so humbly stated. I'm fighting for something that I believe is bigger, which is the greatest of all time. And I do believe a victory over Gane solidifies that. For a lot of people, Jones's performances in the cage have already made him the greatest of all time. The number of defenses he made, the way he made them, and the people he made them against is about as good as anyone has ever seen. The issue is that Jones's career out of the cage has been tumultuous at best. Multiple PED violations, as well as arrests for non-MMA related offenses have tarnished his legacy for all time. But if we are just discussing his UFC career, then yes, a win over Gane might just make him the undisputed greatest of all time. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.